Timer started. There we go. And I'll be right back. I gotta get some hot water. Wow, I've been rushing around trying to get this all done. It's got a couple more things to load to my iPad. "52 seconds left." Ah. "16 seconds." All right, so it is time to start. Let me go ahead and move this out of the way. And today we're going to talk about Mekanech. And it's kind of funny that we have to be talking about Mekanech because just a few minutes ago I was talking to somebody on Facebook and they made me realize why I dislike Mekanech. And I thought, you know what? I'm making this video anyway. I should probably actually, it's kind of cool. It actually kind of freed me a little bit, the conversation we had. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about it. It was I swear this guy must be a therapist or something. It was kind of funny. He was asking me questions and it was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I guess that is really my issue if I really think about it. So let me go ahead. Hey Spiker, hey Hot Spicy Grill, hey Gordo3. Oh, hold on, I gotta get out of this. There we go. Let's see. Hey Gordo 345. Hey Top Toys, Time Gone By. Hey Jinx Caliber. Hey Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. Matt, thanks for being here. Yeah, sorry I started this video late. I was, like I said, running around trying to getting ready for the video, and I couldn't find this little drive right here that allows me to transfer stuff from my computer to my iDevices. So I wanted to transfer like the back of the art for Mekanech. All right, so what time is it anyway? Let's take a look. Whew, I was almost 10 minutes late. Sorry, you guys. What's funny is I almost actually started the video at 45 after anyway. So it's kind of funny. All right, so let's talk about Mekanech. So here is the man in question, Mekanech. And I have to admit, when I first got him, the first one I got from a used store. And I thought he was kind of cool, you know, and I kind of liked the idea of the blue he had on and the color scheme and the way his head worked and stuff. And I actually did think he was cool when I first got him. And so then I guess where I got tainted, believe it or not, was actually from it was from somebody I knew. And just because I don't want to throw real names out there, we're going to call this guy Jack. And Jack, he and I were really good friends. We used to work out together, and we worked at the same job. And I thought Jack was a good guy. You know, he seemed to be a pretty good guy and stuff. And one day, I was working at my job, and I was new doing this process that I was working at, and Jack was overseeing me, and I did a bad job. I did not do a very good job at all. And so I asked Jack, I said, hey, how do you think I did? Knowing I did a rotten job, thinking to myself, that was awful. I could do way better next time and I can totally improve. And he's like, oh, you did just fine. And I'm like, really? Really? That was fine? And I'm thinking to myself, if that's fine, I'm going to rock this job because that was awful. Well, kind of find out later on, I caught Jack talking to my lead and some other people around saying how horrible I was, and they were laughing about it. Now, I kind of dismissed it thinking, okay, he's just, whatever. And more things kept stacking up that Jack kept doing over and over again, which I didn't see for a long time. So what does Jack have to do with this story? You're probably going, what is Hebrew talking about? And what does this have to do with anything? So let me show you my tainted clip that first got me on my rant against Ram Man. And it's so funny, I didn't realize this till today, until I was talking to the guy on Facebook. So let me go ahead and find, change my channel here to the Hebrews cartoon. Boop. He-Man Cartoons, a Hebrew channel. And I just posted a video on here literally just minutes ago. And here it is right here. And so it shows Mekanech talking about Tila and how she can joust. And just take a look at his nose right there, the way it looks. Well, that is the way Jack's face looks. Almost just like that, with that weird kind of spouty nose. And so I started to have kind of, bad feelings for Mekanech because he reminded me of this guy, Jack, who's really not named Jack. And then one day, we're sitting around my friend, different guy. We'll just call him Kevin, which is not really his name either. And Kevin says, hey, thinking about Jack, and he starts telling me things that he's seen over the past year and a half of my dealings with Jack. And then he'd ask me, is that weasel behavior or not? I said, yeah, it's kind of weasel behavior. And he'd ask me another one too. And I'd say, yeah, that kind of is, And he kept pointing out all these things, including the one time that I mentioned about how Jack said he did a good job. But there was a lot of other things that stacked up. Oh, let me plug a microphone in. And so then my friend Kevin said to me, you're going to just have to admit that Jack is a weasel. Do that, man. He's my friend, and da-da-da-da. So then he gave me 2 more examples beyond that of what was weasel-like behavior. And I finally had to admit that Jack was a weasel. And I tried to help Jack. He even asked me what people thought of him, and I told him, hey, man, I'm really sorry to tell you this. He actually asked me, I said, do you really want to know? Do you really want to know? I said, I don't want to tell you. He goes, no, I really want to know. I said, people think you're a weasel, man. And he said he wanted to change his weasel ways. So I worked with him, and he didn't change his weasel ways. It just got worse. He just dug in deeper. So I realized today when I was talking to that new friend of mine on Facebook, that all these feelings I have for Jack, I have transposed onto poor Mekanech, who had nothing at all to do with my feelings. So this guy Jack was kind of a womanizer and kind of a jerk, and all kinds of other things I could call him. And so I kind of put that all on poor Mekanech. So I think Jack is Hebrew anti-colors. So it was just kind of funny how I have misjudged Mekanech by my own prejudices towards this guy. So I've come here to apologize publicly for my Mekanech, anti-Mekanech love. And the cool part is I actually feel freer now after talking to that guy on Facebook. We're just chatting, just typing. And it's like, dude, I never even realized that is, he goes, do you hate Mekanech? And I'm like, well, no, I don't really hate Mekanech, and the more I thought about it, it's like, yeah, that is kind of weird. How could I have such strong feelings for a carry fact? Let me just show you one of my websites that I made about Mekanech. I'm sure some of you guys have probably seen it before. So it's on my old site, heman.us. And so if you haven't been to my old site, here it is right here. And it's under the Blitz Fiction. And I put together some stories on here. And one of them is Mekanech. And And here it is right here. And you see the hordes coming after him. He's standing right there. And He-Man's talking in his ice armor He-Man. And he says, "We know you suck as one of the masters of the universe. But try to hold these guys off until I can get there in all my awesomeness." You know, and so I know it's kind of bad. But anyway, we're here now to talk good about Mekanech, not to keep complaining about him. So let me go grab some hot water that I have boiling, and I will put it into my vat of hot water over here. Ugh. And let me, I'll be right back. All right, coming through with hot boiling water. All right, let me go and put this somewhere safe. All right, so just for this video, I actually did buy a new Mekanech. Here he is right here, because I actually got rid of Mekanech a while ago because of my feelings towards them. I've always kept the Classics one, though, because it's Classics, and I wanted to have all of them. And I also got rid of my 2000X Mekanech, so I had to buy a new one of him as well in order to make this video ode to Mekanech. But it was just funny. I kept putting off making this video. I didn't know why. What was stopping me until just a short while ago? What was actually stopping me? So let's first talk about this guy here and what his powers are. So one of his powers is that he has a periscope neck, so he can actually look above something. So if you have like a hedge or something, he can look above that hedge. So this makes him just a little bit taller than the other figures, which is kind of a cool idea, the human periscope. So you can just kind of stretch a little taller. So imagine you have something that's this tall in front of him. He wants to see over it. Boop, turn his waist, and there he goes. He can see over it. Now, what's cool too is there's some play features to this. One massive play feature, which of course I'm sure all of you have done, is you can use his head as a battling ram to cause damage. So you just twist his legs, and you can then attack figures with the old head ramming, which was actually more cool than just seeing a couple inches taller. Another cool feature, which I used to like to use, was he could kick. So you take his head, and you pull him up, and you can see his legs kind of turn. And so with those turning legs, you can do the old karate kick. So that was also another fun feature. Another thing you could do like a top is if you put your hand, let's see if I can get this right. There we go. If you put your hand up on top and then you do the old slide down, whap, you can have him slap people with his hand. So Mekanech does have some cool features that you could use for his fighting skills. He doesn't actually have the spring-loaded punch, but there's some things you can do with him. Now, of course, once we got the big old colossal guy, I forgot his name now, that has all the extension pieces that kind of rendered him a little useless, but still, I do like his blue. Like I said before, my view of him was tainted because of the 2000X cartoon and the way his nose looked like that guy, Jack, which I just cannot believe I did not see that was what the whole thing was about until just literally like half an hour ago. It was just so crazy. Like I said, it was kind of freeing. You know, I probably had to pay hundreds of dollars in going to a therapist to get what I got from talking to that guy on Facebook. It was kind of funny. Let's see, does Mekanech have his action feature in the Classics line? No, he does not. I'll open that up in a little while. We'll play at the Classics one next after we get this one open. All right, so this is the 2000X one, and you can see there he is. And there's his extending neck, and there's his parts. And in the cartoon, in the 2000X, his neck would extend forever. I don't think it actually really showed much of where it ended. It could loop around and do all kinds of stuff, like just like the hose in your shower that has the metal any way you want to have it once you pull it off the wall kind of thing. And of course I got my awesome sticker included. Now the 2000X line was really cool, as you guys know, for a lot of features. One was they gave us this really updated look of the characters, which was kind of a fun throwback to He-Man figures. In fact, it's funny is I would show people the figures, and they would what kind of movement is this? I'm sorry, you guys. That is just too funny, and this movement fits with my friend Jack all too much. That is awful. Anyway, so his power is he can whap people, whap, with his big giant club here. That's his action feature. And another cool feature was he had a hole in the back of his head so you could see through. So you could use this like you know, like you look through a doorknob or a whatever and see people on the other side. So that was kind of cool too, to have that little thing. It was always blurry to look through. They had a chase version that had a clear helmet, and then of course here's his action feature. And I have to admit, the 2000X version is actually cooler than the 80s with his mechanical bionic neck. Oops, I'm dropping my microphone. I'm sorry, it's pretty loud to you guys probably. So that is pretty cool. That I do admit is cool. Let's see. Dean says not a fan of the 2000X figures. It is funny though, because like I said, when I show people these figures, they'd pick them up and they say, "Oh yeah, I remember He-Man." You know, and then I would show them the old figures from the 80s, and they're like, oh. So it's weird, it's the figures you remember until you see the figures you had. It was really kind of a strange thing when you'd show people. Now, not He-Man, because he had the brown armor, but other characters like Tila and Man-at-Arms and Mekanech and other figures, people all thought that was the toys they had when they were kids. And it was funny to see their expression when I would show them the figures from the 80s. Now you notice these figures keep falling over. They have a really strange, they don't have ankle articulation. So in order to make them stand, you have to really lean them back, because if you lean them so their feet are underneath them, they would just keep tumbling, especially with the weight of his weapon. So let me show you what I used to do. I'm gonna go back to my He-Man.us website, and I have a section on Figure Fix It. Let me turn this light off so you can see this. And right here I have Figure Fix It. And on Figure Fix It I have, let's see, where is it? Leaning or Falling 2000X figures. Right there. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Come on up. There we go. And so what I noticed was that all the toes were pointing up. And so what I would do is I would literally boil some hot water, as before I had my cool little thing I have here. And then I would wait till it got super soft and rubbery. And then I would straighten the foot out in ice water, then stick them in the freezer. You can see all my figures in the freezer there, just kind of hanging out. And then here's the before, and then here's the after. I mean, what a huge difference. If they would just put an angle to ankles a little bit forward on these 2000X figures, they would have been able to stand erect instead of always leaning back like they're ready to fall over. And you could see there's the foot before and there's the foot after. And that seemed to fix the problem. And so I did it to all these guys. So now they could all stand up straight. I mean, this guy even has a heavy weapon in front and he could still stand straight, even though, same with Manny Faces. So it did help fix the problem by fixing their ankle, which is why I was glad when Classics came out. We actually had ankle articulation so we could fix that problem if our figures wouldn't have to lean forward or fall back or anything else. All right, let's go and talk about the classics Mekanech. Let me take a look at your guys' questions. Let's see. They have not announced Origin Snake Mountain. I hope they do announce it soon. Mekanech is the most stable when you raise the club over his head. Yep, you got to put the club behind him. Got to balance that weight. But then, of course, you know, he can't really clobber anybody very easily. Huh, huh, huh. There we go. I got him that time. Anyway, so yes. So if you're gonna pose him, that's the way to do it. So when it came to the when it came to the classics, we got neck extension pieces. They gave us two. They gave us one that was like the old 80s figure, but a little more mechanical looking, which is kind of cool. And they gave us this extra long one, but you really couldn't hook them together, so it looks kind of strange unless you were to take this ring off somehow by sanding it off, but I didn't want to go through all that trouble. So you can have super tall, or you can have the regular height. So you pull his head off. Now I had to add O-rings there because it would get, with the extra weight and the length of it, it would get really wobbly. And so I wanted to add some extra O-rings on there just for strength. Now I'm going to dip these in the hot water so I don't break the neck peg. There we go. And there is the first Mekanech transformation. Now with this extra long neck, it is a little cooler because now he actually can see things that are a little bit further or a little behind other things that, you know, as opposed to the one that went up an inch or whatever it was, or that's about an inch and a quarter, inch and a half. So it did give us a little more length on there. Let me heat this one up so we can swap them out. Now, whenever I would have to pose him and I wanted to use him for pictures, I usually use the shorter neck. Ugh. There we go. Because really, this one could fit inside his body. You know, it makes more sense. It's still a little bit long to fit totally in his body, but it has a better chance of fitting in there. But even still, even this neck is still a lot longer than we saw with the original figure in comparison. It's almost like twice the length if you take a look at how that sits. Now, what's funny is, even though we have classics, even the original one had more detail on the neck than the classics one does, which is kind of surprising. So I never noticed that till just this moment. All right, let me take a look at your guys' comments. The Mega Bloks Mekanech is cool because you can turn his neck. Okay, let me see if I got a Mega Bloks one. Maybe I'll have to open them if I have them. I got a bunch of Mega Bloks figures that I have not opened yet. Mossy, wrong color Skeletor, Evelyn, another Evelyn. I know, it's Evelyn. What do we got here? Oh, cool. Looks like Tower Tools or something. Stratos. Man with lots of arms. The Adam of Princes. Another Prince Adam. Another Moss Man. Well, you know what? I do not have Mekanech. Actually, I think Mekanech came with the battle ram, didn't he? I wonder if I have the battle ram in the closet. Let me take a look and see. We'll have to open them up. Yeah, I really like the Mega Constructs. They are cool, but I decided to stop collecting them just because I got too much stuff. So I just sold my castle a couple weeks ago. Maybe one of you guys won it. And I also sold my Point Dread. Okay, let's see if I happen to have. I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh well. I don't think I have the battle ram. I think I had it in my cart a couple times, but I ended up not keeping it in my cart. The Toys of Time Gone By said he sold all of his too. They must make old men into He-Man origins. They took He-Man's face and made a He-Man origin. All right. So, I guess that's... Oh, you know, I got some more Mekanech stuff. I forgot I loaded some stuff onto my iPad. That's what I was going to do. Whoop. Let me go ahead and get my iPad open. And in my pictures. So, of course, here is the box art that we saw on the back of the card art. And here is the actual card. And it's kind of cool, as you can see, you know, Mekanech uses his periscope neck to spy. Mekanech uses his periscope neck to spy on evil enemy. And it shows Skeletor and Beastman. And then it says, press club into hand, twist waist, head pops up. There's the barcode, proof of purchase, and the figures on the back. Now, as you guys know, this is how I made my cool prints on my wall over there of my 11 favorites. And that's why I bought the Mekanech card, was just to have all my 11 favorites, which are, of course, are these 5 here and these 6 here. So there you go. And of course, I actually ramped up the quality of the card. Check it out. Not only did I scan it in, I also took in my paint program and spent a lot of time cleaning it up and making a super nice clean card, or as clean as I could. And so that was kind of cool. So I have a nice card. I was going to print it out, send it to Costco and print it, but I didn't get around to it. So you can see the quality of cleaning it up. Now what's funny is Trapjaw, he's missing his arm piece right there and his jaw when they made this. I'm guessing they must have made the picture in layers, and they probably had different layers when they make the different characters, and they didn't have the pieces that go along with them when they made it. Evil when armed for combat. I think it's funny, Triclops. Evil and sees everything. Bum, bum, bum. So, anyway, yeah, those are my favorite 5. Here's our favorite 6. Here's my favorite 5 here, except for Stratos. Stratos is cool, but he's not in my top 11. All right. There is Mekanech. Mekanech. Oops. Stop. And that's what his scope sees, according to Filmation. So that was kind of cool. So I had to capture that. There his neck is extended in Filmation. And even in Filmation, he had a really long neck. Longer than the toy did. And he actually had a son named Philip. So there's his son, Philip. And he lost his son, and eventually He-Man helps him get him back. And he had kind of a robotic voice in Filmation, too. So there you go. All right. So let me look at you guys' comments. I'd rather have a good sculpt than action features. You know, that's kind of one of the toss-ups. Good sculpt versus action features. I personally was never a fan of any of the 2000X action features. The buttons on the back just got in the way of like Skeletor and He-Man and Man-at-Arms. There are some fun things you do with them, and sometimes I'll make a video in the future of the action features of the 2000X and show you guys some cool stunts. But you know, this action feature is pretty cool, and I've always liked the twist waist punch. I mean, that's always a good feature to have too. So, and it's funny is when I was a kid, I used to take their legs and stretch them back. I'm not going to do it now as it ruins the rubber band. And I'd actually use the leg and have it fling forward and kick the figures. So using the rubber band inside of their legs, I used to go whap, and then they would kick. So he had the swing punch and the swing kick if you were to do it that way. So, and I know it's probably why, I don't know how many other kids did that, but maybe that's why everyone's legs were super loose on their figures from stretching out the elastic to make them kick. But anyway, but you are right. I mean, look how cool the sculpture looks on that statue. Oh, I know, I love that statue. It's so cool. But anyway, look at the teeth on that. It's just, anyway, I'll stop talking about the cool statue. That's just the coolest thing. Hebrew, question. Do you have every Masters Universe Classic, right? You have the complete collection. I do, except for 2 figures, and that is the Chrome She-Ra and the Spirit of Grayskull blue figure. So I don't have the actual blue Spirit of Grayskull. This is actually a custom, not the real one. And so other than those 2, I have all of them. The last one I bought that I needed was the Bronze King Grayskull. I did buy one after that because I wasn't sure if it was different or not, and that was the She-Ra 2-pack with Wonder Woman, or not Wonder Woman, but Supergirl. But people have told me it's actually the same figure. It looked different though on the box because the shield looked different, but I guess it's just because of plastic interaction that has caused the shield to change color over time. I could live without laser-powered He-Man and laser-light Skeletor's lighting effects in classics. Yeah. I mean, what's funny is with all the new batteries they have, they could have easily just stuck it into the torso. They didn't have to copy the figure exactly. They could have said, it's been classified. We don't need the giant backpack. And I know people would probably complain saying, well, they've added other action features, like with Cyclone, they added the gear on the side of him even though it doesn't actually spin. So it's kind of funny. All right, well, I think I'm going to end this video soon. I am working on, I meant to get this on eBay sooner than later. Hopefully I'll get it on tonight or tomorrow. So that will be good. And I also have my Arrow one on there too. But as you guys know, I got the big one on there now. I didn't put the link in the description this time. Maybe I'll go back and do that. Let me take a look at the comments now. Maybe Todd can do a room tour someday. Maybe. Actually, what I'm doing right now is I'm going through all the figures, and I've already done 2 videos. One was King Grayskull, and the second one was He-Man and Beastman. The next one's going to be Skeletor on through for that year of 2009, and it might be 1 or 2 videos for all those figures. And so eventually I'm going to cover all the figures in the line as I go through those videos. That'll be kind of fun to do. Let's see, do you own any horses from Mythic Legends? I do. I own the big brown one. Let's see if I got him down here. And I actually showed him off in my Rio Blast video, because that's what I bought him for. Oh, there he is. Pieces fell off into the box when I pulled them out, so his little backpack piece just fell off on the back. And this horse is pretty cool. Oop. But again, I got him for Rio Blast, and I just, because somebody told me about the Batman horse, I went on Big Bad Toy Store and bought the collection of Batman figures to build a figure horse. It's a black one, and I'm going to use the black horse for Overkill, the bad guy created for Rio Blast. In fact, I got the town set up over here, so I can start doing more stuff with Rio Blast soon. So that'll be cool. Anyway, I'll set that right there. Yeah, you don't have to envy me, man. It's funny. When I was a kid, I used to work at McDonald's. And I used to give my paycheck to my mom. And I would get to buy 1 figure from my paycheck. And then my mom would get the rest. Because, you know, we were not well off. And so my mom needed the money more than I did as a kid. And so then I ended up getting married to my wife. And I got my job that I have. And I found out that I was doing the exact same thing. is I would get my paycheck and I would get a new figure from Matty Collector. And it's funny because I was doing the same thing I did as a kid, you know, getting one figure and the rest of the money goes towards the household. And so really it's just being at the right time to buy them. Because when I bought all my Matty Collector figures, I got them all, you know, sometimes on the big Cyber Monday deals or other things like that. And then I used to always buy 3 because shipping was so much, and I would sell the other 2 to make up the money. So it was just being the right time. I mean, right now classics are so expensive, but when I bought them, they weren't that much. And if you bought 3 of them, you could sell 2 and keep 1 and either make money from it or at least break even. So just about all my figures that I have are from selling figures. And this is messed up. My second from my oldest son goes, "Man, Dad, it's just the same way that people that sell drugs do it too. They do it to support their habit. You know, they buy all these drugs in order to buy drugs." And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess my habit probably is an addiction. But it's just cool because everything that I have bought has been from literally buying more of them and selling them. So when you guys buy my figures online on eBay, you're supporting my habit to get more action figures. So that's kind of how it's a perpetual thing. So that's really all it is, you know? Yeah, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Yes, all my action figures from my childhood are actually no longer with me, except for one, and that is my Baron Karza. My childhood figures are all gone too. Yeah. Sometime I'll tell you guys a story. It is a crazy story about how I ended up losing all my figures and stuff. But anyway, yep, the one figure I still have left. I think. Nope, I was thinking I had a Man at Arms. I still had 2, but I didn't. I don't have a Man at Arms anymore. That was from my childhood. So the only figure I have from my childhood still is this one giant 18-inch doll called Electro Man, and Baron Karza from the Micronauts. This is a good drug. Let's see, Toys and Games Hardcore Wrestling Videos. That was me on Facebook. I told you about the Batman wave. Oh, thanks, man. Yep, I appreciate you telling me that. So now I'll have a black horse for my bad guy for Rio Blast. That was pretty cool. Buying things can get audited to anything, but not like drugs. Ugh. Do you have Instagram? I do. My Instagram account is Hebrew Official, so you can find me on there on Hebrew Official. And then I also have a Twitter account too, but I don't look at it very often. And so there you go. The only toys I have from my childhood are a bunch of McDonald's Happy Meal toys I managed to hold on to for all these years. Crazy. So now if I give it back, I'll keep collecting Transformers. Dr. Stephen Strange. Hey, it's okay with the typos, man. My typing is atrocious, so don't worry about it. See, luckily I just get to talk. I don't have to type. If I was typing, you guys would see how bad I actually am. When I'm doing the premieres and I'm typing, I'm retyping it 3 or 4 times before I hit the send button. And even then, sometimes it's still messed up. Anyway, so I'm not going to mention the guy by name if he's here listening. Thanks again, man, for talking to me on Facebook. You actually did free me from my Mekanech feelings. And it was funny. I didn't even realize that I was tying it to that other guy. So thank you. And the rest of you guys, thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next video. Bye now. Do I own any Ninja Turtles? I have a few now. I have the 4-pack from Super 7 on its way. Oh, you gave all your toys away. You thought you were too old. Oh, yeah. I did that with my Hot Wheels. No. All right, you guys. Thanks again. Bye now.